come to Botswana and see the difference in Africa.
You come here, you will not regret having spent your money in this country.
Botswana is a landlocked, mostly arid country bordered by South Africa, Zimbabwe, Namibia, and Zambia. While the country is about the size of France, 2/3 of the land is covered by the Kalahari Desert. The capital city, Gaborone, is home to a mixed ethnic society that comprises primarily of people from various African tribes, Europeans, and Indians. Although Setswana is the national language and is widely spoken in the country, English is the official language used at higher levels and for business. And Botswana offers a good environment to live and work in.
Botswana is one of the most peaceful countries, not because it's at all, but if you look at violence, crime, and a lot of other things, they are pretty low here and very much under control. The business climate of Botswana is very good. In the past it has been as well, but in the future we are concerned that it may be impacted by what is happening around the world. But I think to a large extent it does depend on, first of all, the management of the investment climate by the government.
Botswana's economy is stable and well managed with low rates of inflation. The country offers a stable workforce, good industrial relations, and competitive labor costs. In addition, a good transport infrastructure and modern telecommunication system lend to the attractiveness of doing business in the country. Furthermore, the country enjoys a reputation as the least corrupt country in Africa, with high transparency and a well-developed legal system.
The prospects of the future of Botswana really lies on its developing its sectors that are non-mining, basically diversifying the economy beyond the mining sector. If we can see this country taking the tourism sector to the heights that we believe the potential lies, we can see this country going further. If we can develop our agricultural sector, which has a huge potential, especially when it comes to beef production, especially when it comes to other crops that are amenable to our climate. If we can take the financial services and if we can take other services sectors to the height that we believe is relevant to our economy, I believe that the potential of this country is very, very huge.
To this effect, private sector development in the country is actively encouraged. An attractive tax system, abolished exchange controls, and a wide range of investment incentives are just some of the measures put in place by the government in its bid to promote economic growth.
We started off as a country with a very small private sector. In 1966, when this country got independence, the private sector was very, very small, contributing about 4% to the GDP. But over the past 43 years, there has been a lot of improvement. Although as a country we have a very small population in terms of given market, but we are surrounded by countries which has a huge population. I'm talking about South Africa, I'm talking about Angola, I'm talking about the DRC, and I'm talking about Malawi, Zambia, Zimbabwe, which are all our neighbors. And in that respect, as a country, this place is the ideal place to be.
Furthermore, there are no foreign exchange controls, and its citizens enjoy a low tax regime. Corporate tax is at 15% for manufacturing and finance companies, while all others are taxed at a comparatively low rate of 25%. In addition, products manufactured in Botswana can enter the United States and the European Union free of duty and quotas, thus immediately widening the potential market base beyond the shores of the African continent.
Welcome to Botswana.
The people are very friendly, they're kind.
Botswana is my favorite place in Africa. It's cool, very great place to stay.
People come to Botswana. It's the most beautiful place you can ever see in Africa.
Very beautiful, hey?
and we are the most politest and kindest people, so just come on and we'll show you how we are. Right? Say hi. Yeah.
Here in Botswana, we believe in giving a proper welcome to all visitors. That's why we ensure that your landing in the country is safe and secure. We are committed to international standards and recommended practices. Currently, we are working towards state-of-the-art equipment and infrastructure. Our sustainable 5-year plan offers business opportunities to interested partners. Civil Aviation Authority, Botswana. Safe and secure aviation services.
Botswana, a friendly investment environment where predictability and consistency can be found. Here at Botswana Telecommunications Authority, we are helping to build that reputation by enabling a transparent regulatory environment for service providers. From setting industry standards to protecting end users, we ensure fairness and quality at all times. Botswana Telecommunications Authority, creating a world-class regulatory environment.
Though sparsely populated, Botswana has managed to incorporate much of its interior into the national economy. There is a paved inner circle highway connecting all major towns and district capitals, and an all-weather Trans-Kalahari highway which connects the country to Walvis Bay in Namibia. Further, the authorities in Botswana realize that a comprehensive and modern infrastructure needs to be developed and maintained in the country in order to continue upwards growth of the economy. To this effect, plans have been put in place at national level to have a positive impact on the overall growth of the country.
We're a very big country, sparsely populated. The economy is relatively small, and I would say because of that, we have not developed much in as far as transportation is concerned. But we are getting there, what would I say? The air transport plus the rail transport are purely 100% government so far. Public transport and road cargo transport are purely privately owned and operated.
In order to further enhance the transportation system of the country, the Civil Aviation Authority of Botswana has been established to act as a regulator of air transport services.
It has taken all the responsibilities of the previous department as of 1st of April 2009. So we have an autonomous civil aviation authority. We have a new act and new regulations are under promulgation. This will allow us to license and to have the liberalized air transport.
The new terminal building in the capital city, Gaborone, is one of the ongoing projects of CA, and there are many more in the pipeline. The new terminal building will improve the passenger processing at Gaborone Airport. A runway of about 4 kilometers has the capacity to allow planes like Boeing 747 or equivalent aircraft to land. The current cargo terminal in the capital doesn't have an apron which links the cargo terminal with the runway and taxiway. A new one is under construction now, and it will allow to park at least 2 aircrafts in front of the terminal building and to handle cargo.
The new terminal building has got 2 phases. The first phase is where we have the major activities of the airport. So that will be ready in 2 months' time. It will have new counters for airlines. It has got new baggage handling systems. It has departure and arrival lounges and some VIP and duty-free shops and other services related to passenger processing. The old terminal building will be demolished after we move operations into the new terminal building. That is what we call phase 2. That will probably be ready by September, October this year.
In order to further develop the aviation sector, Botswana needs capital from the investors who can establish home-based operators and expand their services, not only within Botswana, but also regionally within the SADC region.
Investors should come to Botswana because of the good policy the government has, a robust economy, very peaceful country, and very adequate infrastructure in terms of internet and road access. And now we are working on the air transport side, so I believe that is the right place.
Botswana ranks among the top 4 countries in the region in terms of telephone penetration. A fiber optic telecommunications network has been completed in Botswana, connecting all major population centers. There have also been concentrated efforts to provide rural communities with telephones and related services.
We have opened the market to private sector to help the government put up whatever they could put up, get involved in the ICT. Government is not saying, you know, they've got everything, they know everything. So the private sector has actually got a very big slice of the cake to themselves to help with the ICT programs, so that as we say to people, come to Botswana, they should not find themselves without the facilities that they want.
Botswana established a regulatory authority to be known as the Botswana Telecommunications Authority, which will be responsible for regulatory oversight of broadcasting, internet, postal, and telecommunications. The country's vision is to make available affordable voice communications and access to internet to all in the country, regardless of their location.
The responsibility of the Botswana Telecommunication Authority, really in the nutshell, we are the referee. We provide the regulatory framework. We ensure that at the end of the day we advise government on the policy matters that actually borders on the ICT and communication services in general. We also have to make sure that the market is efficient, and where there is where we believe that, say, market is not going according to the plan, we will forever try to get the key players and advise them accordingly.
Mobile phone penetration in the country is approaching 100%, which is more than twice the continent's average. 3 mobile operators, Mascom Wireless, Orange Botswana, and B Mobile, cover most of the country.
If you look at the development, that's where we came from. As early as 1996, we had actually no mobile telephony, if I may put it that way. And as at the 31st of December 2009, there were about 2.39 million people, which is almost the population of Botswana, that have actually were the subscriber base in the country.
Botswana has a relatively young IT industry with about 200 registered IT companies. That still leaves room for potential development. A national fiber backbone supports a wide range of services, including ADSL, satellite internet, and wireless technologies. Most areas in cities have Wi-Fi networks, as well as hotspots in shopping malls and cafe bars. And there are 22 commercial internet service providers in the country.
We are already connecting with the eastern and the western undersea cables to allow us to have, quicker communication systems, instead of waiting some minutes before you can get a response. We hope that once people have got telecommunications in place, once the road, rail and air transport are in place, that alone people should not feel that they are in a landlocked country and therefore they cannot come to Botswana, because everything would be in place very soon.
My Botswana is all about music, the natural, the one that deals with earth music, that's traditional music of all types. And my name is Alport Mhlanga, and I deal with the youth orchestras, and I compose music for the youth, and I really enjoy working with the youth, especially here in Botswana, where they're so versatile and so talented. And my music is all traditional. It is based on the music, cultural music of the country. And then we play all types, because with ethnic music, there's no limit. And as we compose the music according to the lines, this music is always going to be at the heart of the people. And that is what we want to take to the people outside this country, so that they can see a small part of Botswana's heritage, which is like the diamonds, is dynamic. And that is my Botswana.
The Botswana economy is fast growing. Just imagine that since independence, the average annual growth was about 9% for the first 3 decades. The government has consistently maintained budget surpluses. The economy is focused on mining, but has been diversifying towards a lot of other sectors.
The Botswana economy is pretty strong. I would rate it as amongst one of the best economies in Africa and amongst the emerging markets and developing markets. For example, to just illustrate that point, Botswana's foreign resources before the crisis was something like more than 30 months of import cover, which is very high. Botswana perhaps is the only developing country that exports capital to the rest of the world. Most developing countries import capital to satisfy its domestic investment requirements.
Botswana's financial sector is relatively well developed, with an independent central bank and minimal government intervention. The government is involved in banking through state-owned financial institutions and a special financial incentives program that is aimed at increasing Botswana's status as a financial center. The country's competitive banking system is already regarded as one of Africa's most advanced. Foreign investment and management are welcomed in Botswana. A top priority has been to enhance business profitability and regional competitiveness with a more efficient investment code. This milk processing factory is one successful example of foreign investment. It is the result of a joint enterprise of investors from Botswana and Zimbabwe. The company has the capacity to supply its range of UHT long-life milk to the domestic and export markets. It is the largest dairy factory in Botswana.
The business environment in Botswana is favorable. The domestic market for our product is okay. We can also export. So in short, the market is fine. All the major challenges for a company like ours will be access to capital, particularly working capital. Otherwise, the political environment, the economic environment, the policies and so forth are very favorable.
The overall freedom to establish and run a business is relatively well protected under Botswana's regulatory environment. Obtaining a business license takes less than the world average of 218 days. The government has established a one-stop shop for investors, and the process for closing a business is easy and straightforward. And there are a lot of other incentives for the investors. Probably the most attractive one is the low tax regime.
Botswana as a country boasts the lowest tax regime within the region, especially when you talk about the corporate tax. We have the lowest tax system in this country. But at the same time, we are continuously revising our tax because we will be launching a revised tax regime, having undergone a tax reform, to make sure that we simplify the administration and even the collection and the paying of tax, to make sure that investors are not unnecessarily delayed, they are not unnecessarily paying huge amounts in terms of administration when they want to submit their tax returns.
And now, let's take a look at our top 5 restaurants in the capital, Gaborone. Number 5 is the Italian restaurant Primi Piatti. Needless to say, their pastas are excellent and the atmosphere is entirely Mediterranean. At number 4, we chose the Indian restaurant called Embassy. It has a variety of wonderful curries. At number 3, the Brazilian Rodizio with their exquisite meat skewers and entertainment program. Number 2 is the Portuguese restaurant Caravella. Situated in a quiet neighborhood, it offers a mouth-watering assortment of seafood dishes. And finally, our choice for number 1 is Drotsky's restaurant, which combines the African ambience with luxury. Drotsky's is set in a wonderful scenery overlooking the main Gaborone Dam. Often described as Africa's fastest-growing city, Botswana's capital, Gaborone, is a vibrant, colorful, and bustling modern city. There are numerous busy shopping malls offering a full range of imported and locally produced goods, excellent restaurants, top international quality hotels, sports clubs, and various nightclubs. New buildings and suburbs sprout like mushrooms wherever there's a block of land to fit them, resulting in a mix of low-cost housing, blocks of flats, shopping centers, and industrial complexes. But of course, the capital is not the only interesting place to visit for tourists. Botswana has a natural beauty which lies in its wilderness, wildlife, and cultural diversity located in various parts of the country. It will give its visitors a truly unique African experience.
People should come to Botswana for a lot of reasons, and I'll touch on the major ones. We are renowned for our peace and stability over the years. We are renowned for very hospitable people. When it comes to tourism specifically, we have wildlife, same as other countries have the same wildlife. The difference with Botswana is our conservation policies around how we manage the wildlife, how we look after it, how we leave the land or the terrain where we've allocated national parks and game reserves, as well as wildlife management areas, to be as natural as possible.
The national parks and game reserves, like this Mokolodi Reserve situated near the capital, are major tourist attractions. It is attracting travelers from all over the world for both hunting and photo safaris. Not surprisingly, tourism plays a large role in the Botswana economy. It is creating more than 20,000 jobs and provides some 12% of the GDP.
Most of our time and resources within the strategy of growing tourism into the future is actually on the investment side and development of opportunities that already exist in some of the areas in the country where tourism is less developed than in others. So there's a lot of community involvement where communities actually part-own some of the natural resources to assist them with joint venture partners for an investment, try and attract that to come in and form partnership with communities.
Despite continued challenges such as small market size and a landlocked location, Botswana, already one of Africa's wealthiest nations with a thriving economy based on diamond mining and tourism, remains one of the best investment opportunities in the developing world. A regional leader in economic reform, competitiveness and flexibility are promoted by a sensible business regulatory environment, openness to foreign investment and trade, as well as relatively flexible employment regulations. Regulatory reform has turned the country into one of the most liberalized telecommunications markets in the region, while its political stability and fiscal freedom will continue to attract foreign direct investment.